Listen, man, I love that voice right there. You got to know him to love him, man. You got to love him to know him. Come on, it's interesting what's going on right now. This young man has passed by our studio over the years many of times at the B, and I always say, they go Karamo.
And I be begging to come in. Begging.
I was like, wait, what's Karamo's? What's going on, man? And so I said, this time, no matter what, if his name ever come across the board, he'll be the first person I say, let's have him as a guest. Hey. And this is really special because the first time we met, I don't know if he remembers, maybe I might be mistaken, was in 2004.
Yeah? Real world?
Philadelphia.
Philly. Yeah.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And MTV had me come and do something. I don't know.
Was it with Diddy for like Vote or Die?
Might have been for Vote or Die. I don't remember.
But that's not the time that I remember. And I was going to tell you before that it was impactful. After that, I got to L.A., invited to my first little Hollywood party. It was in the hills. Walked in. It was like 40 million rooms. I'd never seen a house this big. Sway was sitting down, chilling. He was next to Alyssa Milano.
Oh, wow.
Had stars all around him, just chilling, relaxed.
Damn.
I went up to him. I was like, hey, real world. Like, yeah. He sat me down. He was like, yo, you got something. You're going to be big. You got to get focused. You got to be smart about this. And like, I'm sitting there and I'm just start taking notes on my hand because in the phones it wasn't doing what we do now.
Right.
Just start taking. He was like, yo, get focused. You got this. He's like, when you get focused and you're ready, the world is yours. What you want to do? And I was like, I want to host like you. And he was like, you got this. Work on your voice. Work on this. And literally those skills you gave me, stay with me. My entire life.
Come on,
stay with
man.
me. It gave me the encouragement right at the real world. Know I could do it. And you were the first to say that ever.
Karamo Brown, ladies and gentlemen.
First, my brother.
I'm gonna blow your mind because I remember it. It was on. Damn, I can't even think of the name of that house.
That was a beautiful house. Like a big house up there.
Yeah. It was on top of Sunset.
Yeah, top of Sunset. Yeah. That's it.
I remember that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember that event.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I remember. It was impactful, brother. We made it. We made it.
Mama made it.
Mama made it. Come on, man. And your story is just such an amazing story. We were talking about it. I think you're brave. I've always thought you were brave.
Thank you.
I always thought you were talented. I always liked your energy.
Thank you,
whenever I see us as black men in these spaces, I had to do that.
Yeah. Because of you, I do that. Anytime I'm in the space, I do the same thing. I know these young bucks are like looking at me like, dude, I ain't ask you. But I'm like, yo, one day you're going to be like me and Sway. You're going to be like, thank you. You know what I mean? Yeah, you have to, though.
How often do you do that? Because I'm sure, and we were talking, you were the first openly gay black male on Real World.
Yeah. I mean, somebody could have beat me to it, but he didn't have the confidence at that point to be his true self. So, you know what I mean? But
right.
But
you can't even blame him, though.
You can't. Different time, different, like no blame. But and so it was a different time back then. So now I always make sure when I'm in a space, I always like try to give as much knowledge as I can, try to endure, like pass on that confidence, like you can make it, because as we don't see enough of us in these rooms.
Well, and then I don't think we talk enough about it, especially amongst black men. And I'm curious to I didn't want to make the conversation all of this, but it's great. I'm curious on your take with hip hop as a culture. Have we evolved in our acceptance?
Oh my gosh, yes. Are you kidding me?
Speak to it, yes.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I just think about like when I was coming up, there was, what song was it? I can't remember. It's Cameron. One of them put my name in a song and was like, all these Karamos out here pretending to be, real niggas and shit. And it was like that's where we were before, where now hip hop artists don't do that anymore. We have Lil Nas X, we see, so many different people who just feel, it's Saucy Santana, like, who just feel amazing to be their authentic self, and people accept them and love them. I mean, the growth. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
You had a lot to do with that, Karamo. Give that man a round of applause, man. Cam mentioned you in the song, You Famous Kid.
I think it was.
He ain't trying to put Cam out there. He said, don't quote him, so I don't quote him.
I got to go look it up on Wikipedia.
It wasn't Cam? Okay, let me take that back.
Yeah,
but MC mentioned you in the band. Anytime my name get mentioned in the song, I feel like I made it. So
Exactly.
I don't care what they talk about.
I made it.
I made it, damn it. All right?
Point of this interview, we made it, Ma. Like Kevin said.
Now, here's the uniqueness in this. Heather and I knew each other because we know each other.
Right.
But MTV has brought us all together.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
And we've all had different kind of MTV experiences. Mine's with news. Both of you two went through Real World, but
Yeah.
at different times, right?
Yeah.
When you
Way
reflect,
different.
yeah,
The OG, the beginning.
it was no real. There was no Real World before Heather B.
Before Heather B.
There was no. There were no black reality stars until Heather B.
Before Heather B.
There wasn't any fights on TV till Heather B. Come on, man.
Put some respect on her name. That's all I'm saying.
Love and
Everywhere we
Hip Hop, all of the bat wives, all of that
Housewives.
stuff.
All of them are our sons?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did they ever call you and thank you? Seriously.
I don't really know. I don't, you know what it is, Karamo, and I think you can attest to it. Like, I try to explain to Sway before he goes on these rants. When Real World, I was told that this was going to be a documentary. In 1992, they said, we want to do a documentary in New York about 7 artists. And we don't care what form of art that you do. We want to have you all live in a house together. I was like, y'all going to pay me to live in a house and eat? Sure. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
Done.
I didn't think anything of it, and I didn't think it was going to make it to television. There was no name on this thing. You know what I mean? So to look and see what it has become, I don't think anybody knew. You know, and I say to people who went and did Real World, like, think about Karamo's season. Yeah, he may have seen past seasons, but once you're actually in there and you do it, and the impact or whatever it's whatever you thought goes out the window.
Really?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Because you
agree.
could go in and practice and be like, I'm going to be like this. And ain't nobody going to get to me. I ain't going to say nothing. I'm black. I know better. I ain't like all the things.
And then
You get in there. And so I don't know if it's a thank you as much as I'm like, thank God. Like, just thank God. Like, I survived it. It's cool. I know who I am. My mother and father, rest in heaven, ain't mad at me. Keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
Yeah.
But they should all give you thank you notes because you were the first.
Thank you.
You allow people to say, oh, okay, we need to start casting black women because we see their power, we see their brilliance, and that's you.
Thank you
That
so
was you.
much. Wow. Thank you.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was you.
How was, when you reflect back, you know, I have this thing, I have this thing, beware of the lights. This is ideology I have about the power of microphones and cameras and how they morph people's personalities into folks they don't even recognize 2 or 3 years later. It's a lot of power behind this thing, those lights, right?
Yeah,
it
a
could,
lot.
It could morph your mindset, right?
Yeah.
Did you experience any of that post-reality TV?
No, because post-reality TV, I went to a deep depression.
Okay.
Because the thing was that there was all this, there was like this pressure that I didn't want. There was these titles that I didn't know that I had, that like that first, you know, gay black and like all these things, and then people all of a sudden I wasn't enough. Like I wasn't black enough, and I wasn't gay enough, and I wasn't. It was like weird, and so it just put me into a spiral of depression. Like literally after the Real World, maybe I did a challenge in 2005, and I was probably about 160 pounds when I did the challenge. I got voted off like second or something, and no one didn't know because I wasn't eating. I was like just depressed and trying to like, and then like it was shortly after that I attempted a suicide.
Really?
And, yeah. And so it was because of the effects of the media and not understand, because no one told. I'm 22, just fresh out of college. No one told me how to deal with. Now your people are gonna have an opinion about you. They're gonna be talking about you, and you're not making no money. So I wasn't rich enough to like, like have. So like I'm still in my same apartment, still poor. But people expect you to have all these things and do all these things and be able to say all these things, and I didn't have anyone to guide me, and I just got depressed.
I'm so sorry to hear that, because I remember reaching out. There used to be a circuit that people who did Real World would go on speaking engagements.
Yeah.
And so I would run into random people and they would start telling me stories. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? And it's very along the lines of what Karamo is saying right now.
Yeah.
So I remember calling, and shout out to John Murray, who part of Buna Murray. He's the Murray in Buna Murray. I was like, yo, you need to start having conversations.
Yeah.
Or bringing people in to speak to the cast members about fame or whatever that means to
like
them.
an orientation before and after.
Absolutely, enduring, because to his point, the media decides what characters you are, and like he said, you live up to it or not. But I always tell people, because I want people to know, fight for your money. I did 13 weeks for $2,600. That was my pay. So can
Did
you
make more than her, Karamo?
You know
For
what?
my season Real World? No, we didn't make that much. I think I made $10,000 for $10,000. That was it for the
whole season.
The whole season.
How many weeks were you in the house though?
We were there for 3 months.
So
12,
okay, they got
Yeah,
$10,000.
it was nothing.
I
You know
got
what I mean?
$2,600
Yeah.
for
Crazy.
13 weeks. So
Man,
thank
they
God
paid-
for my record. Like I didn't. It wasn't a money thing for me,
Exactly.
They paid me 6 figures for news.
but you know what? This is why. The hate. See, this is why he was able to walk up to your ass and tell you, keep going, brother. He giving you advice. He ain't give you no damn money though, right?
He was up in there with Alyssa Milan. They was chilling, okay?
Yo, but
Y'all should have said something.
But this is why the conversation was necessary. I had OGs, if you will, around me at that time. I had a record deal. My mindset was just different. Plus, none of us thought it was gonna make it on TV, so we didn't care. The expectations were different. But for them, I understand exactly what he means. I know. I hear him.
Yeah. The expectations came big, and like I mean, telling you, like once I got through that, like after I decided to like get my mental health together, it really was what like led to all of this as well. Like this journey of like me wanting to be a host, but knowing that like I need to take a different way where I help people, because I was just like, I can't have everybody going through the things that I was going through. I don't want anybody to ever feel like they got to be in their house feeling like they're alone, feeling depressed, feeling down, and not have a resource. And if I can be a small resource for them, literally is what guided me to this talk show. Seriously, it's like those moments like that. And that's why I talk about it so openly.
It's called
because
Karamo. That's the name of the talk show.
Karamo. Mama, we made it.
Mama, we made it.
It's called Karamo.
The show's
You
called
made it,
Karamo,
man.
okay?
Damn it. How did you get your mental health together? See, that's the process that I want to hear about.
Yeah. Well, first of all, like I went to family and I got turned away quickly. Because everyone was like, my mother, religious, was like, pray. Story we always hear. My father was like, you just being lazy. No one understood and had the language. And none of my friends, we was all too young to do it. And so literally I just started to go to neighborhood like AA meeting was the first place I went. I wasn't even an alcoholic. I just was like, well, I know that this is where people come and talk, and maybe if I go there and talk about what I'm feeling, they'll get through it. And that was my first introduction into having people listen to me and not judge me and not tell me it's because I'm lazy or because I don't want to go back to, whatever their thoughts were. And then from there, I started asking like, well, how do you get, because I know how to get therapy. Like that's still most people is foreign to. Like how you actually sign up for that. Like how do you find someone? How do you actually navigate that? And so then I started going down a process to navigate and figure out how to do that. And so it was a very slow journey. I think from the first time I took a meeting, so the first time I had therapy was 2 years. Really? Because it took me time to figure out how to save the money because I have insurance. It took me time to figure out how to know to find someone. It took a long time. Nowadays we have things like BetterHelp and all these other stuff that is easier, more accessible. But like even 5 years ago, it wasn't that accessible. Wow. And so it took me a journey, but that journey was worth it because then one day you end up with your own talk show.
There you
or wherever
go.
your dreams come true. Okay, do the work on yourself, and then you'll get what you need.
Yeah, your honesty and authenticity led to that as well. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Dancing with the Stars.
You want to do that too, Sway?
I can't do that. I can't.
Sway, I think you could.
Your name is Sway.
I think you could literally.
Really? Yeah. No, seriously.
Seriously, I think you could.
Don't do this talk show whole shit to me right now.
I'm telling you, you could. For real, you could.
Okay, all right.
Sway, you got this. You could be the greatest guest.
I was all in.
You was into it.
I was all in, man.
So you got this.
I was like, I could.
Okay,
I can do it.
I'm like doing little steps in.
Sway doing a cha-cha.
I did used to break. I can bring it back. You have such an amazing story to tell. Tell me about this show. It's a syndicated daytime program?
Yes, it's 100% in the country. It's all around. You go to KaramoShow.com and you can find out where it's playing in your city. And basically, it's everyday people that come on my show who have problems with their mother, their father, their sisters, their brothers, their husband, their wives, their friends, and they just don't know how to get through it. And so I bring them on my show and I help them through their problems. And the thing for me is that even though my guests are come with challenges. I bring a lot of compassion. I give them real tools that they can use to walk away and be better. Like no one walks away from my show not feeling better. And then we have a lot of fun because sometimes a celebrity will come on. They don't really promote anything. They'll come and talk about their real problems, so they can sort of inspire people to be better. Because if they can make it through, we can all make it through. Maybe with some resources.
Okay.
And so, the show it's been dope so far. We've only been taping for 2 weeks. 2 weeks? Yeah. And today is the second episode airing.
Okay.
And it's been wild and amazing.
And you just go to KaramoShow.com.
KaramoShow. KaramoShow.com.
Let's go to song, and then when we come back, we'll do a mini episode of the Karamo Show on Sway in the Morning.
I'm with
it. You take over the hosting duties, and then me and Heather be a guest on your show.
I'm with it.
While on this show.
Do y'all have a conflict or a problem that y'all is not resolved?
With each other.
With each other?
Yeah.
What is it?
Everything.
It's a few things, Karamo. You figure that out, Mr. Host. All right, we're coming back. You want to talk with Karamo Brown, 888-742-3345. Yes, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the brand new show that's sweeping the nation. You may know him from Real World Philadelphia. You may even know him from Dancing with the Stars. Or you may have saw him on Netflix series Queer Eye. But today, he's debuting his brand new show, syndicated nationwide. Please welcome to the stage your host, Karamo Brown.
KB.
Hey.
Come on down.
KB.
I like that. Can we get that clip so we can use for the intro of the show? Can we just get that?
Got you, brother.
Use that every day.
Well, you're the host. I'm not talking no more.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
All right, listen, we're here. We're back. We're with two amazing guests. You know them, Heather B. and Sway. So listen, you two asked to be on my show because you're having some problems. Talk to me. Let me know what's going on.
Well, I'll go first.
Well, what it is.
You see? Already.
So he's cutting you off already.
Go ahead.
But
What's your version?
it looks like he's patient. He looked like he stopped for you and he wants to be there.
And that's the problem because I am a patient person. I'm the type of person that takes the high road. It's reflective in the work we do on this show. You can hear it every day. And she's impatient and she, subscribes to the low road. For me, Karamo, at this stage in my life, I don't like that kind of conflict, that energy conflict. And it plays out every day on this show.
How do you feel about what he said?
Sway is a closeted low roader. And I don't appreciate it. I know he takes the high road because it's safe. He wants to appear to be a high roader. But in fact, he's a low roader. And so I'm just trying to get him to be his authentic self, Karamo.
So why don't you think he can be his authentic self?
Well, he doesn't like it. He has a lot of celebrity friends,
So Sway, there's a big accusation here. What are you afraid of to be your authentic self? What are you afraid will happen if the real world knows you?
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
That was pretty good. I was gonna say I thought y'all did know me. Well, it's a lot of truths that I live by. That it's a time and place for everything, Karamo. If I said
somebody
everything,
who loves you is telling you that you not being your authentic self is affecting your relationship and is also stopping you from having the life you want. Talk to us.
I'm trying to learn how to appease that part, of this person that's saying that. I don't necessarily believe it, that I'm not being my authentic self. I'm a kind-hearted person. I've been this way since I was a child. I was raised by elderly people in my family, Karamo. They put the love of God in me, right? And I was educated.
Did they also put the fear of God in you?
They didn't put fear.
Okay.
They put love.
Okay.
Oh, Yarn. Are we done?
So then when did the fear come in?
When I met Heather.
Yarn, are we done? Listen, Karamo, here's the real deal. These artists come up here unprepared.
This is true.
These rappers come up here with whack bars, no bars, low bars, trash rhymes, trash. And he sits there and encourages them, keep going. And I'm like, go home. You're not ready. You shouldn't be here. He calls that low
but why are you not okay with somebody being on their journey and getting a little helpful hand on that
Thank you, Karamo.
Okay, here's the deal.
She was that person
let me
at one
give
point. She was never
let me
whack.
give you a better example.
Were you that person one time?
She was trying to be heard. She was trying to be seen at one point.
No, let me give y'all my example, host and guest. Here's the thing. All right, there's community college and then there's Ivy League.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you go to like community college sometimes, you just figure it out before you go. You can't come here and figure out your bars. This is the Ivy League. And he lets them practice on this show.
But why is that a problem?
Because it's wasting our time.
Is it wasting y'all's time or is it wasting your time?
There you go.
Our time,
Because it seems like this man wants to encourage people to be better and know that they can make it to the Ivy League
Be
one
your
day.
best self.
And you're feeling like they can't. Why do you feel that way?
you should not come here to practice.
But Heather,
this is
why?
the Ivy League.
Why?
He feels the
But
same
why
way.
can't they
Talk to her,
practice?
Karamo.
You should practice at home. Did you come here disheveled? Did you came done?
Oh, watch out.
I came done, all right.
You,
I was going to tell you, watch out, Karamo.
The show's called Karamo, okay? The show's called Karamo. We came ready, okay?
You know,
Come
you about to
ready.
flip it.
Yes.
They don't come ready. And I see his frustration on a different level. And I said, if you just speak up and tell them, we wouldn't have these repeat offenders.
All right, so what can we do to heal this relationship right now? Heather, what do you need?
Sway to be more honest and tell the rappers to go home.
Sway, what do you need?
A cough
Sway,
drop.
what do you need?
Thank you. I rest my case. It was so lovely being on your show. You know, as a woman king, it just feels amazing to win this fight.
And that's the Karamo Brown show, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Thank you for solving our problem.
Your show works, man. I feel a lot better right now, man.
I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
Hold up, man. We got some people on the lines. We got Dennis from Seattle on the line. Rise and shine, Dennis. Say hello to Karamo Brown.
Hey, good morning, Shea 45.
Hey.
Karamo,
Yeah,
man.
Dennis.
Mad props.
Thank you, man.
Just for being real and transparent, right? Like, maybe you should be a counselor, right? and Sway should be on Dancing with the Stars. But I'm dreaming,
Listen,
right?
that's number 2.
But,
Person saying you should do it.
Hey,
How much did
right?
they pay? Hold on. How much did they pay?
They pay nice.
Yeah, they pay nice.
Yeah, how much do they pay?
How much, man?
Nice.
Depends on like what. I don't want to. I don't know what everybody else getting. Mama.
They
You
pay
get-
nice.
6 figures?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching. But, you know, yeah, just thanks for being real. You know, I had a friend that was on The Real World, Joey Kovar, and, you know, I do nightclub events in Seattle.
He committed
and
suicide, right? I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm so sorry
well,
about that. Or passed.
That or overdose.
Yeah. Okay.
But just the scene, man, you know, there's so much stuff that happens behind the scenes, and there's no help, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I appreciate you breaking down those barriers, right? Because people are just uneducated, I can say, you know, with or uninformed with help, right? There is help out there, right? And you know, recovery really saved my life, you know.
Amen.
And I have a blood family, and I have my other family, my other tribe, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, you just have the ability to be honest and transparent, you know, and it's unconditional. So
Yeah.
I know where you're at.
Man,
and
listen, brother, I really appreciate you sharing that because
man.
literally at the end of the day, that's what you just did as well. And what I did is the reason that I share my story and am 100% vulnerable about all my challenges, because the more that we talk about it, the more that people know that they can get through it, that they're not alone, because that isolation, that feeling alone gets you into a dark place. And there with help, with work, you can get through it. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you for all the support.
Absolutely,
Man, Dennis,
man.
this was a real-ass call, Dennis. Appreciate you. You're a
Appreciate
citizen,
it.
man.
That's Sway in the morning.
The Karamo Brown show, bring him out, man. My gosh.
We bring him.
When you, who found you when you tried to commit suicide?
My 2 best friends, Ray and Trey, I've known them since I was 15 and 18. We're still best friends today. They actually left the house because I thought they went to work, and they walked out, and that's when I attempted. And they knew something was wrong, and so they came back and like caught me right before I was fully passed out and called the ambulance. And all of a sudden, I just remember being in the hospital for the next month or so. I got myself together and got some weight back on me, and had my family surrounded by me, and started working on my mental health.
When you reflect on that, like if you could have talked to the person prior to you committing or attempting to commit suicide, what would you say now to that person?
I would say, first of all, talk about what you're feeling, because I think, first of all, this is men, black men, this is human beings. Sometimes we get into a space where we don't talk about what we're going through because we feel like a burden. Like one of my things that I don't do now is I no longer am on auto repeat of saying fine. Like when someone says, how are you? I no longer just say, oh, I'm good, I'm fine. Like I actually express what I'm going through. And I say to someone, like, just because I express it, I don't need you to solve something. Because sometimes when people say like today was shitty, I don't feel good or whatever, we feel like this burden and feel like, oh my gosh, I guess I gotta solve this.
I do that.
And it's like, no. I'm not telling you this because I feel like I need you to do something. I just don't want to pretend. And I think by doing that, it allows me to feel not so in my mind and in my head about the things that I'm going through. And it allows me to feel comfortable in knowing that, like, it's okay to express that things are not all right. It's okay to say, I don't feel good right now, and not feel like I have to be alone with those thoughts. And I would have told my younger self that, because my younger self just kept telling everybody, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, until the day that I wasn't okay, that I tried to, commit suicide.
Yeah.
And it's tricky because imagine he did a whole challenge, like a whole television series in that mindset.
That mindset.
I'm fine. And all those people around and nobody stopped. It's crazy.
Can I tell you? And that's another thing. We have to look out and pay attention and not think that, like, if we talk to someone privately about what they're going through, that is making us like gossipy or whatever. Because the thing is, I always think back to that situation. Like, people can look back on that challenge because Netflix plays it out and I'm the image that they use. I'm like a 6'3" man, and I'm usually about 200 pounds just naturally. I was like 160 and skinny, and everybody was looking at me like I was okay. And I'm like, y'all ain't seen me go in this kitchen once. Y'all ain't seen me eat nothing. None of y'all want to say, you okay? None of y'all want to be like, you all right?
Yeah.
And because I didn't want to be a burden and bring it up, I just kind of went along with it. And then being on there only escalated because then people were like cussing me out, saying he's shitty, he's fucked up, he's this, because he don't want to do this challenge. And so I would just say, like, feel okay with talking about your feelings, and also be okay with asking people about what they're going through. You know what I mean?
Karamo Brown, man.
Yes,
we got Nicole on the line from Boston. She wanted to chime in.
Yes,
Nicole,
sir.
rise and shine. How
Hey,
you doing,
Nicole?
Nicole?
Good morning. And how are you?
Well, thank you.
Well.
We're doing okay. Heather and I are relieved. We got some therapy this morning, so we're doing a little better.
Just a little.
Just a look up.
What's your,
Can you hear me now?
yeah,
Yes.
what's your comment?
My comment is I'm listening to Karamo, what he's saying. I'm sorry I said your name probably wrong because I have a little list.
No, you're good.
But I follow you, and I did not realize how much you were saying until I'm sitting here driving, and I'm all like, wow, he really hitting home, because I have a lot to say, but I have nobody to vent to, and I've been keeping to myself, staying to myself, not dealing with nobody, and dealing with the depression. And then I got a tattoo said, I'm smiling on the outside, but inside I'm hurting. Because I am hurting, because I have nobody to talk to. I lost my mother at a young age.
Sorry to hear
And
that.
the people that I thought I could vent to and talk to is not working for me, because they turned on me.
Yeah.
And they use it against me. And that's the hardest part for me. And I never thought about going to an NA meeting or a double, about to say double A or AA meeting to talk it out, because I even have a counselor, and she's more of a friend than a counselor, but she's getting paid. But she don't, like, because we still have to do virtual.
Yes.
And it's not the same as in person,
Yeah.
where I have more time, because when you're doing virtual, they only give you a half an hour. But when you're there, they give you that hour.
That hour, yeah.
Right, and I don't have that, so I have to crunch everything in that happened from Wednesday all the way until next Wednesday. And that's a hard situation, especially when you're going through a lot and you can't, and it's like sometimes I feel like I cannot breathe, because I'm venting. Like right now I'm talking to you, and I'm happy I'm talking to you in the Sway in the morning. Sway, I love you, Heather B. I love you. I've been
I love
watching
you
ever
too.
since Real World.
Thank you.
And,
Love you too,
my
Nicole. And
Thank you.
it sounds like you're talking out right now.
Yeah, Nicole, I gotta tell you,
Right.
thank you so much for just calling in, because like, like sometimes we don't know what's gonna happen when we come on these shows and we come together, but like this was a space that needed to happen today so that you could know that you're not alone, to know that we heard you. And that I'm so glad that through my story you found a new resource to get the help, because I promise you, I haven't walked in your shoes, but I understand the pain that you feel when
Right.
you take those steps. And I want to
And
let
then
you
it's like
know.
I'm-
yeah. No, go for
sorry.
it. I want to hear
Because
you.
it's like, I help other people. I don't know how, the grace of God, but I can help other people and get them through what they're going through. But I can't help myself.
Listen, you're
My
not alone in
son's a
that.
lawyer.
You're not alone in that. Listen, that's why I'm in this work. Like, you just heard somebody who says that he fixes people's problems all day long. Before this
Right.
career, working in social services, now working in this, like, but I couldn't fix myself. And so that's a symptom that happens to a lot of us. Most of us who are the strongest, we can fix everybody else, we can build everybody up, but we don't know how to repair the broken parts of ourselves. So don't feel guilty for that. Don't, just acknowledge that you have a gift to help others, but also acknowledge that you have this amazing gift to get the help for yourself. The fact that you called in, you've inspired others, and I just know you're going to take the steps to like go to one of those AA meetings where you can find new resources. And I'm praying with you, and I'm there with you along that journey. You got it. You know what I mean? what I mean?
Nicole, you a citizen, and we love you. Call anytime, okay?
I will. Thank you.
Yes,
so much.
love
All right,
you.
Nicole. Have a beautiful day. Karamo Brown, get that man a round of applause. He's saving lives, and he's a dad. It's a black dad.
Yes, I am.
Yep.
Man, what's that like, being a black dad?
Ooh, I'm
for
so
you?
glad they out of my damn house.
How old are they now?
25 and 21.
Oh, gee.
Wow.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Jason and Chris?
Jason and Chris. So just anybody, I had one girl that I slept with when I was, 15. She didn't tell me about my son.
This is the only girl you ever slept with?
Only girl. It was one and done for me. I knew. I was like, nope. I'm not vagina shaming, but I was like, nah, that ain't for me. That ain't for me.
You didn't enjoy nothing about it?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
No.
That's real.
I have so many women that get naked from me every single day, and I'm always like, I don't see it, girl. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? But we had a moment.
Take me with you.
Okay.
Let's see
We
what I
pay the
see.
favor.
every one of my homeboys like, I'll come over. And I'm like,
so somebody to see the
Exactly.
light. But anyway, so with your boys. Yeah.
But yeah, so she told me when my son was 10, and then I got custody of him. And she and I are best friends, and I adopted her other son, and that's how I got 2 kids. So they were 8 and 10 at the time when I got him. And now they're 25 and 21. 25-year-old he's living at home, still doing good. In school doing stuff. The 21-year-old gets on my nerves every single day. It's wild. He wants to be a rapper. He would die if he was up here.
You tell him bring bars. You heard what Heather said. Don't come up here practicing. How did you talk to them about sexuality? Did they ask, or you?
Oh yeah, no. We had a lot of questions. We talked about. So the thing was is that the reason that I think I became a teen parent is because no one talked to me about sex.
Okay.
And no one told me the importance of like what it was to like actually have sex and be in love at a time and how more special that is. You know what I mean? It was just like you got to do it. You're a young man. You're supposed to be doing this. You know what I mean? I had this pressure from my uncles and my father, and so when I came to them, I switched the language. I used to tell them from the moment I got them at 10, I was like, listen, one day you're gonna want to experience sex, but I'm telling you it's better if you fall in love and it's better if you wait.
Yeah.
And so I would give them this message of like, it's okay to wait. It's okay to wait. And my oldest son didn't lose his virginity till he's 21. He talks about it all the time. And my youngest at 20 because they were both waiting for someone to love because the language changed in the household. And my oldest is still with the girl that he dated, that he lost virginity to. And I think it's just a better conversation that, we don't have to pressure kids to feel that they have to be sexualized so early, even if they have the desires.
Karamo Brown, man. I love it, man. Hey, KaramoBrown.com. Y'all follow this young man.
Yes.
Yeah.
He came up in here and he healed us.
Hey, we're healing.
He brought us together.
Come on, KaramoShow.com.
For one day. We'll be back at it tomorrow, boy. I tell you.
Fighting.
Hey, Karamo, thank you for coming through. Love you, brother.
I love you,
man.
man.
Love
I
you,
love you,
man.
sis.
Keep
I love
going,
you.
man. Keep going, all right? All right. We going to come back. Let's just celebrate Karamo right now. Shade 4 or 5.